Singh, let me start with you first. The role of Nehru, which Kiren Rijiju says is dubious, needs to come out into the public domain. It needs to be debated. No matter who is in public office, his or her role needs to be examined. And particularly now, after 70 years, one needs to examine Pandit Nehru's role. The Congress is saying, why are you doing this now, and that too on Children's Day, which is the birth anniversary of Pandit Nehru? What happened 70 years ago? It's all part of recorded history. The BJP is trying to twist history, distort history, and defame Pandit Nehru.
I'll give you one more example other than the Nehru history. There's one more example I'll give you. It's said that the independence we got independence just because of the Congress, and Congress was the only party which got us independence. I'll give you one example. 1885 Congress was formed. 1872, 66 were blown by the cannon, by the Britishers, much before Congress was even formed. And even the Swadeshi movement was started by Kukas in 1872. And Khadial was introduced by Ram Singh ji much before. So history has been fed to us in a particular fashion, and it's time to revisit history and know the real history, the effects of the history.
Okay.
Otherwise,
Congress party shying away from what was clearly a mistake on Nehru's part. Everybody agrees now, and 70 years later, it was Nehru who took the Kashmir issue to the United Nations, and that was a sore mistake. It was a grave mistake. Now, you may have issues with what Mr. Rijiju has written for News18.com, but the fact of the matter is it calls for a debate. Why is the Congress party shying away?
Would basically mean lowering our own standards. Number two, politics of fate on the then Prime Minister's birth anniversary. The BJP doing what it does best, what it knows best. Hate, politics of hate. Number two, we are astonished that the Bharatiya Janata Party has not attributed the failure of demonetization, LAC intrusion to the Congress party, to the then Prime Minister, Mr. Nehru, that, they are responsible for the failure of demonetization and LAC intrusion.
No.
All the other
issues let's stick to the issue at hand, please. Let's talk about Nehru's role in the accession
I have already asked for...
No, I know, but you're deviating. You're not talking about... Stick to the issue.
Let the people decide if it is connected with the issue or not. Zaka, just allow me an uninterrupted minute. Number three. If the blame game would have helped the situation of Jammu and Kashmir in 2022, please blame us. But it does not even help by 1%. I tell you what the blunders of the Bharatiya Janata Party are in Jammu and Kashmir. There is no law and order there. It's in shambles. There has been an exodus happening there. The education model has failed. The Medicare has failed.
Arshpreet, again, you are beating around the bush. You are talking about 1,000 issues not connected to the issue at hand.
I think
please talk about the issue at hand. Was it Nehru or not who delayed the instrument of accession? You are free to disagree. You are free to disagree.
100% disagree. Please allow me 50 seconds.
So then talk about that. You've already taken 1 minute. You've talked about all other issues except the issue that we are debating tonight. And now you're asking for 50 seconds more.
Because you do not allow me to talk.
Because you are going around beating around the bush. Talk about the issue at hand. Talk about the debate that we're having tonight on the show.
See, this is what the debate is all about. It is 2022 going on and the BJP is still talking about 1950s, 1947s. How does that even is relevant? How does that even make sense? The point that makes sense is that at the present day,
and 47 is making country suffer still, was wrong in knowing that and then trying to correct the path.
The Bharatiya Janata Party is indulging into blame game to hide their own failures.
Mistakes which were committed in 1947,
again, you are deviating from the issue. One second, Arshpreet Singh, one second. One second. Let me go to Sushil Pandit. Arshpreet, you have to talk about the issue at hand.
There is no Medicare.
Whether Nehru's role needs to be examined on the delay in the signing of the instrument of accession. Sushil Pandit. No, leave aside whether this is a diversionary tactic, deviating tactic. I'll come to that in 1 second. I want to talk about, I think it's important that a correct sequence of events, a correct version of history is placed in the public domain before the people of this country. Now, if it was not Nehru was responsible for the delay in the signing of instrument of accession, then let the Congress party come forth and say that. In fact, Kiren Singh has come forth and said that. He has said that he didn't know at any point that Maharaja Hari Singh wanted to sign the instrument of accession before 26th October 1947. This is his son. He says he was in the room when the instrument was signed. Sushil Pandit.
You're asking me, Zaka?
Yes. Yes, Sushil Pandit, to you, yeah.
Hello. Are you asking me?
Yes, I'm asking you. Yes, Sushil Pandit, yes, go ahead.
Thank you. No, I can understand why people want to skirt this important issue of our history. There'll always be time to discuss, and we have always discussed the current situation in Kashmir. But you cannot brush under the carpet the unsavory facts of history just because you want to beat the present government with the failures in present-day Kashmir. Incidentally, what Kashmir suffers from is not the law and order problem, which my fellow panelists just referred. It is Jihad. And it is because how they Kashmir built it in a manner that today we are where we are. It is himself on 24th of July 19 admitted that Maharaja Hari Singh wanted to accede to India. And I told him, what is the rush? See, the public position was, what is the rush? Let us ask the people and let us ask the popular leaders like Sheikh Abdullah. The real issue is he rebuffed the Prime Minister after Prime Minister who came on behalf of Maharaja Hari Singh to negotiate, that they will not talk to anyone unless Sheikh Abdullah was appointed the Prime Minister and sent to negotiate. This is how it is.
Okay, so let me ask Majid Hyderi, was Nehru's friendship with Sheikh Abdullah blinding him from the reality that had there been this delay in signing of the instrument of accession, not only was this getting to an India-Pakistan war situation, the Pakistani raiders were making their way onto Srinagar, but more importantly, lakhs of people died in those 3 or 4 months. The delay that was caused in signing of Majid Hyderi.
Firstly, happy Children's Day. And if Nehruji were asked to find a blunder in what he had done, he would firstly say that the blunder was advocating the right to freedom of expression, that today we have reached a level of freedom of expression in our country, that one of the ministers is abusing the former and the first Prime Minister of our country, and we are panelists also abusing him and asking that he should be booked posthumously. See, but it has been done for November 15, because on Children's Day it would mean that something like achievement of Nehruji being credited by BJP, but BJP avoided that. So basically the problem is BJP has hatred against Nehruji for his vision. He had the vision of giving the country the IITs, the IIMs.
No, Majid Hyderi, you're doing the same thing that Arshpreet did. Let's talk about what happened in 1947. You can again. Okay.
Became part of India. And we need to thank him.
Okay, RP saying the only reason why a Muslim majority state like Jammu and Kashmir became part of the Indian Union was because of Jawaharlal Nehru, and you need to thank him. RP Singh.
So was Hyderabad. Did Hyderabad came to became part of India because of that love for Abdullah has given this pain to the India and has costed India the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, Jammu Kashmir, which is with Pakistan today. And also, not only that, I mean, who told Nehruji to go to UN and then ask for plebiscite against the wish of the cabinet, against the wish of the Sardar Patel? It was only the blind love for Abdullah, Sheikh Abdullah. And that's what India is suffering from.
No, but RP Singh Saab, how are you responding to
at that time? And what has been corrected by Prime Minister Modi? Can I complete? What has been corrected by Prime Minister Modi?
One at a time.
Is a way forward.
One at a time.
Is a way forward from by the. Sir, I never interpret. Way forward on the mistakes which Nehru committed. I mean, obligation of section C-1735A is a way forward now, and then there's no more stone pelting which is happening in Kashmir today. There are no calendars being brought out.
Constitution of India. It continued for 70 years until it was removed in 2019. Again on this, the Congress has
and that too against the wishes of Ambedkar ji.
Arshpreet Khadial.
Thank you. Now, Zaka, the amount of time that's been allowed to the BJP spokesperson, allow me the same amount of time. And I shall be only clarifying the stand of the Congress party for which I'm here, not to pander. Terrorism, the deaths that have been happening, school kids who have barely had 50 to 60 working days in a year, the people who cannot go to their jobs, and people who are having to migrate to other places because there are no jobs in Jammu and Kashmir. Do these questions get answered by talking
No, can you
about
explain to me, Arshpreet? Again, I asked you this in the first answer as well. How is what happened in 1947 the reason why there is no education, or why Kashmir's social indices are not high? I mean, talk about the issues that I'm asking you the questions on.
There is no education. Where is there no education? There is health facility. There are new ITI aims here also now.
Please hear me out. See, it is the people of Jammu and Kashmir who are still saying that we have these issues. Is everything fine in Jammu?
Opinions on this. We've been on part of our shows where, on the aftermath of these killings of Kashmiri Pandits and other laborers, etc., that's happening even recently. Is this a political sort of slugfest between BJP and Congress, or do questions of history need to be settled in the right perspective so that at least the country knows the role of great leaders, and great leaders also have...
Goes to me.
On 1st January 1949, Jawaharlal Nehru unilaterally declared ceasefire and gifted 40%, 39% of Jammu Kashmir to Pakistan. And that issue still festers. We have lost more soldiers in Kashmir than we have in all the wars put together since 1947.